What's going on, world? This is another episode of the Cloud Chronicles. I'm your host, Johnny Blaze, man. As you see, I got a special friend here, man. I've known this man for a very long time. Went to school together. We even played a little elementary ball. We might have had one of the best boys club basketball teams to ever grace the planet. I'll say it with confidence myself. We had a squad. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Without further ado, man, let me introduce my friend right now, man. Let me get into what he does real quick. He works for Argus Controls. He's the application service field technician. This is a good friend of mine. This is Jacob Souza. I want y'all to show him some love. Jacob Souza in the house, man. What's going on, bro? What's going on?
Not a man, nothing. Another day.
I appreciate you joining me, man. I appreciate you joining me. So basically, man, you work in the cannabis field. I know that. I want you to tell everybody basically what you do, man. You have a very, very, very rare job. There's only a handful of people in the country, and maybe even less than that in the world, that do what you do, man. So I want you to get into that, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I work for Argus Controls. Thanks for the intro. It's a Canadian company based out of Vancouver, BC. Essentially, I commission advanced automated control systems for cannabis, vegetable, flower, you name it, we do it. We also work with biotechnology firms and universities. There's universities in every major conference that run our systems in their biological sciences lab, but I am our main cannabis guy. I can get into how I got into that after this, but essentially I show up at facilities and I commission all the control points of everything that moves in an indoor grow, in a greenhouse. I calibrate and tune a nutrient injection system based off the fertilizers on site. I also train the head growers how to run this equipment through the software. I tune all the logic to get the climate balanced, which handle hard PID equations and logic tuning equations. But we essentially take full control of the space and care of everything that plant has to have in a facility to be successful. And I'm talking 5,000 square foot grows to 500,000 square foot grows.
So you're like a foreman times 100, though.
Dude, you got to have a lot of skills. I mean, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and then I do low voltage controls. I also tune computer logic, and then I have to train the head growers on site after I leave how to run this system without us. So.
Yeah, man, it's crazy that work you do, man. When I was up, I did some work out in South Dakota a few years ago, man, and I was doing some tree spraying up there, some seasonal tree spraying. I don't know if you've been up there, Black Hills area, and
heard it's nice.
Set up like those irrigation things, like
toward
the end. You know what I mean? Like with the
Yeah,
man. So you do all that too, huh?
Yeah, we do outdoor farms as well. Most of the time when we're doing ag crops, we're talking about bioresearch, corn and soybeans and wheat. But we do outdoor farming as well. And everything is still controlled by our software from the computer, but essentially we're controlling the whole farm. But we gather metrics to tell you your batches, how good each batch is, at what climate, at what yield. I mean, it's a lot of advanced metrics and algorithms that go into it, but it's the future of farming. It's the most efficient. You have to think of it as like Coca-Cola, man. They're the most efficient person at what they do. We're trying to do the same thing like any industry. We're trying to put out the best quality cannabis possible at the cheapest rate we can. And in cannabis industry, you're talking about yield per square foot or per square meter. And that's what the company sees is their goals and how well they're performing. But it's a trip, man. I mean, being in a state that's legal, the problem is like every state right now has its own regulations, its own rules, what you can and can't use for fertilizers and sprays. There's no continuity across the region yet. And so everybody's just kind of shooting from the hip and trying to think that they're going to do better than what we've done on the West Coast. If I go up east, I mean, it's hard to get a lot of stuff done. You can't just dump out leachate water and condensate water and all the stuff that we produce to run these grows. It all has to be accounted for. So it's tough right now. People think just because you're in cannabis, people are just bringing home tons of money. And in some places that's the case, but for most people, there's a lot of money going out. So unless you have some public backing or you're a real top brand, it's hard to be real profitable And the goal to profitable is being a multi-state operator, like, you know, the Columbia Cares of the world, the Cresco Labs, the GTIs, Green Thumb Industries, you know, the Canopies, like companies like that are in 10 to 20 states vertically integrated, which is grows, production, cultivation, lab, and dispensaries. And you'll see the highest stock prices for the companies that are in the most states, and that's a multi-state operator. Curaleaf, you know, companies like that are leading the field, and they have the most market share because they can potentially induce hundreds of millions of potential cannabis users, as opposed to being in a state or a city and you're only, you know, gathering millions of potential users. So that's kind of the name of the game. You know, people are getting bought out and bought by these bigger companies, but I'll tell you, if you don't have automation, they don't want anything to do with you because you're not efficient enough, you know.
So I know you do a lot of travel, right?
I mean, 2 to 3 weeks a month.
Yeah. Yeah. So how is has the pandemic, like, how has that affected like your overall, like your job and as well as like the overall industry itself? Like, how's that?
It put it on hold for a bit as far as new grows went. Farming is 365, 24/7, right? So even though there's a pandemic, there's plants in the ground that have to be attended to, and there's millions of dollars a crop a grow. So it can't be left to waste. So I was an essential traveler. I was off road for 8 weeks, which was crazy. Yeah. And then some people needed some emergency help, and we worked with our COVID protocols for my company and theirs, and agreed to have me come on site with certain protocols in place. And after other people realized that I could travel safely, I was on the road all the time trying to play some catch up for us. But there's no really catch up because the industry is alive and well, and every new state that opens is another, you know, 1 to 10 jobs for me. I mean, I've done 8 jobs in Boston. I have 2 more coming up this year. Tons in Illinois. I mean, I'm getting down south. I'm going to Arkansas next week. I'm going to Oklahoma City the week after that. I'm going to possibly go out to Hawaii and go there. And, you know, my fam's from there, right? So I'm going to get to maybe double dip on that trip and get some work done and see the family. So it's wherever the new licenses are is where I'm going. I don't do much West Coast because it's established. I actually have 2 grows in Vegas this year. One is going to be extremely massive that'll compete with my old company for sure, and another greenhouse, but mostly it's Midwest and East Coast, man.
So basically it's like you're like the dude in the movie where like if something happens and everything's under control, and then they're like, nah man, fuck this shit, we gotta call in specialists, and then they're like and then they call you and shit, and then you show up and fucking you get in this all black helicopter and shit and land right in the middle of the site, pop out and shit. Shut all this shit down. I want you there, and I want you over there. Like that's basically you, man.
It is like that. It is like that.
I know it is, man.
What's crazy is you show up and like I have my own set of jobs to do, and like the mechanical guy has questions, the electrical guy has questions, the plumbing dude has questions. You're like, so you're wearing a lot of hats, man. But they, you know, nothing works until I finish my job. This facility can't make any money until I'm done. So crucial that everything is done properly. So it's just me and another guy, a senior guy, Oklahoma dude, just me and him doing all of the United States and now all north of America. So I got to do Canada this year as well. I just picked up a job there later this year once the borders open up. I
want to move there, bro. I want to move there.
Dude, BC's tight, man. Every time I go, I always spend an extra day in Vancouver downtown. There's the Gaslight district, and it's all these cool cobblestone streets. I always spend a night downtown hitting the different cafes and bars there. Vancouver's super cool.
Have you been to I know about Vancouver. I was looking at some of the like the smaller places, you know. What about have you been to Nova Scotia?
I have not. I was supposed to do a job there the other year, and they gave it to a dude that lived farther north than me. Okay. But I heard it's cool, man. Like you're in a whole different time zone up there.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, bro. Like I've looked at, I know one guy on Facebook, one of my Facebook friends. He went there not too long ago. He took some pictures. I've done some research on the place, man. It looks like if I was gonna go, that's in my top 3 places where I would.
Man, Canada's cool. It's so similar. I mean, when I leave, like I'll go to Canada 4 times a year. My company takes me back up there. We hang out and do meetings, but they're cool. They like to go to the pubs. They like to drink beer. They like to hang out and watch their sports. Like it's pretty much the same, but I'll tell you, when I get home, I'm like, oh, it's so nice to be home. You know what I mean? But like when you're saying like get help, man, it brings me to my last facility. I'll tell you how I got into it. I mean, I'm a trained geologist. I was drilling oil wells in Texas. Oil field, crashed once again. And then I got into a big firm, a geology engineering firm, and I was running a big injection extraction well system outside of Las Vegas. Okay. And long story short, I used to build high pressure flow systems in the oil field. So like all the flow lines and stuff just made sense to me when I got to farming. So then my pledge brother from 20 years ago at Texas State, who finished his degree at A&M in horticulture, he's been a big consultant in the industry for the last 15 years from flowers, tomatoes, veggies, and cannabis. I met him. I had a meeting with him, dude. It was a trip. We went to the laundry room, which is a little speakeasy beneath the stairs at Commonwealth, which is a dope bar on Fremont Street in downtown Vegas. You have to schedule it. They open it at your scheduled time, and you walk in, and it only fits like 10 people. It used to be part of the laundry room at the old Cortez Hotel.
That's crazy.
So we always talked about me maybe getting into farming, and this was kind of like the meeting that was like, this is the real one. We're tired of just kind of talking about it, and he's so busy. He's on 400,000 square foot places in Cali and greenhouses in Tulsa, and so I set up this meeting hoping this would be like the catalyst. So we go in and just have the best time. He's just an amazing, amazing guy. Texas boy from Houston, went to A&M, went to Texas State. And he's like, I have this grow in Vegas. It's one of my favorite customers. They have this Argus control system. Nobody can make it run. I think you're the dude that can do it.
Right.
And I've never seen an Argus, and I've never been in a farm before. And I was like, besides working on ranches, in Texas when we were young, and it's like, I'm like, okay. So I started moonlighting there, like on my time off from my job. I'm drilling during the day and going there on the weekends. And it took a couple months of part-time work, and I got the system to run, hit all my numbers. The next week, I finished all the control wiring. That week, I fed all 9 grow rooms in one shot, in a couple hour period. And they're like, I need you here every day. And I'm like, you pay me more in the corporate world, I'm here every day. So I left my geology corporate job and became their facility manager, and then also the Argus controls dude. So after 8 or 9 months of getting that place up and running, that guy I'm talking about left his job as a vice president at a consulting firm and became my director of cultivation. And me and him together for 6 months got this grow where it needed to be, with help with a bunch of other great individuals. And we went public as Flower One Holdings, which is the biggest grow in Nevada. We added a 450,000 square foot greenhouse on top of the 25,000 square foot indoor we were running. And it's the biggest grow in Vegas now. I stayed for 3 or 4 months of that transition.
That's what's up, man.
I was ready to do something else, and they let me go in good graces. And then literally the next day, Argus called, and the top tech there, who was my technician, he's like, send me your resume, put me as your reference. Yeah. And we'll be talking soon. So I took 3 months off, went to Moab with my wife, went to Canyonlands, went to Arches National Park, took some time off. And then I flew up to Vancouver twice, and then sealed that deal. And then I've been to Argus for the past almost 2 years. And then I've probably been to about somewhere between 50 and 60 facilities.
So let me ask you, so what do you think, when, or, what do you think it's going to take for, like these states like Texas, for instance, and some of these other states that aren't, I mean, good question. I want to know from you, because you're going to have, what I'm saying, like that insider.
Sure. No, and I talk with a lot of facility owners and directors. I mean, the big guys are waiting for every state to open. The plans are already set. We have facilities already designed out, ready for them to open up. But as far as the states themselves, unfortunately, it is up to the legislature, as you know. But as you see, we're already putting bills up. I say we because I'm a Texan, and I always refer to myself as being home in Texas. But I see.
Shout out to all the Texans.
So I see those bills going up, and And that's what it takes. As soon as, I mean, if I think I saw a poll that said the whole country was like 66% pro, and even Texas is like 50 or 60% pro. So it's
Right.
going to happen. I mean, I'm hoping, the problem too, the sad part is as far as medical, not having legal medical, even with the restrictions we have, which are the toughest in the nation. I mean, we're talking severe cases, I think, of like epilepsy and things like that, to where you can get it. It's not even open to people that need it for cancer treatment. It's very sad. So
Yeah,
as far as that point,
I completely agree with you on that part. Like that's what kills me about, even if we were so far behind, like we should at least be caught up with the times, to where like people that need it for medicine, or people that don't
100%, 100%. And
go the pill route have that option. You know what I mean?
right. And to answer your question is like, I'm getting there. It's like, I'm in Florida. I've done some shit there. Shit. Can I say shit? So I'm in Florida.
That's all you want. Fuck shit,
I mean,
bitch.
I'm in Oklahoma. I'm in Arkansas. We did a place in Missouri. So, I mean, I've been in Kentucky. So, I mean, we're getting there. And I know the state's going to change. But you know what's crazy is people don't understand is like, excuse me, you go to a dispensary here. First of all, it's in a strip mall. It's super nice. It's way nicer than getting beer at the beer store. I go there, you sit down, first person that walks out, 75-year-old white grandparents. Next person that walks out, a single black business lady in a suit. The next person that walks out, a soccer mom. It's like Asian, black, Hispanic. It is not a taboo. It's not a weird thing. Like
it's not racial. It's not like,
That's what I'm saying, dude. It's 21 to 80, and it's every color. Everybody's super nice. There's guards everywhere. It's actually way safer than I'd say going to the dang convenience store. And then,
or just.
But I mean, I think so. The good thing about medical is, medical leads to rec, right? But
exactly.
If you get medical in, people start to get used to seeing that. And the other thing is like the alcohol, right? Like, I don't want to get off tangent here, but like in Vegas, it's 24/7. If you go to the bar at 3 a.m, there ain't nobody there, and it's act like just because you have it, you're going to use it. Now, the cool thing is a lot of people work nights. Well, they're there at 6 a.m. They like to have a beer. It's the end of their day, as their American right, as the American right should be, right? So,
exactly.
But it's like, same with cannabis. It's like, you think if it's open, oh my God, everybody's smoking weed. I go, the people that like to smoke weed, smoke weed. The people that try weed and don't like it, don't smoke weed. So, I mean, it's that simple. And then I have people like my wife who doesn't like to smoke weed, but she has a hard time sleeping. Well, we have awesome gummies here. She takes a gummy at night before bed. She's out like a light. She sleeps great. But it's like, there's plenty of other uses, anybody who's elderly, if you get high level CBD, 600 milligrams plus of lotion, you put that on for small aches and pains, it 100% helps. We're not curious, but people don't get that. It's like, if we can get medical in, it becomes less taboo of an old school Texas thing that weed's bad, which the government told us that anyway. We didn't tell us that, right?
Yeah, we all know about that propaganda.
Once you break that stereotype, it's more commonplace, and then that leads to rec. And the cash grab in Texas will be tremendous because we have the second most populated state besides Cali, and I mean, look at Oklahoma. I think in the first like 2 quarters or something, when they legalized, like 50, they did like 50 mil. It's like, so I mean, and they got a fraction of our population. So it's coming. There's
the day it becomes legal, man. My plan is to get a ranch anyways. That's my plan. I want to.
That's my goal too, man. I want 100 acres somewhere so I can fish and do my own thing, man.
Yeah, like I want a ranch. And like I said, hopefully sooner than later, once all the bills and gets passed and they figure out how they want to tax the shit, I'm calling you. I'm saying, man, you got to come down to the ranch, get this shit set up.
You're not the first person that's offered that to me.
Yeah, man. I know, man. You're never gonna be without work, bro.
No, and that's, dude, farming is like, when I was young, my mom used to say like, man, you love working at ranches and farms. I wish there was money in it. I just didn't know there was back then. And now I've found the way that there's plenty of money in it. And even, to talk about veggies, it's like like I've told you before, I mean, like if you go to Costco and get vegetables there, those are facilities our systems are running. Like we feed the nation. So it's like we're doing, if you go to Home Depot or Lowe's, those plants you buy are coming from facilities that my systems run. Right. So it's like, it's the future of farming, and we're going to be able to grow cannabis and vegetables side by side and feed the nation and take care of all the other stuff it handles. I mean, you know, it doesn't work for everybody as far as the thing to do, but you know, I know plenty of people, I'm sure you do too, that would take smoking cannabis over alcohol any day. And it's
because it's not legal here.
And you know what? And it's so weird. When I go to states that are not legal, obviously everybody smokes weed, you know, and I'll say something for black market stuff. I mean, everybody's got black market off the streets, but I'll tell you this, even when it's good, when I show people the stuff that I get from facilities, when they call their stuff good, it's two different things, man.
Yeah, it's a whole nother ballpark, bro.
It's totally different. And then beyond that, it's like, well, 30 or 40 black market. Why pay 50 or 60 at the dispensary? One, it's tested. Two, I know the THC. The test is very stringent. What it does is it x-rays the buds on a molecular level and sees if there's mold or fungus or bacteria growing. So at least in Vegas.
I'm glad you're breaking this down from what the difference is between what you're going to get off the street or.
Dude, no, it's a big deal because like in Vegas, every state's a little different, but I'll tell you how it goes in Vegas. We have 5-pound perky bags of all our weed that's been cured and it's ready for sale. The state's there every day. You stick a hand in, grab a bag, test it. If that fails, the whole bag fails. So you can send it to the lab to blast it because obviously that would kill any pathogens in there. But you make all your money on flower. So if you're telling me I got to throw 5 pounds pretty much away, it's a big deal. So when you get it from the dispensary, it's tested. THC level is tested. You know it's safe and it's high quality, man. Like the stuff that I get from dispensaries or the facilities I go to, I've never seen any street weed that looks, I mean, maybe some look somewhat close, but the top level, it's whole other stuff, man.
Yeah, it is. It really, and then also too, like, you know what you're getting as far as like your indica or your sativa.
Well, that's right. And the strains, that's a whole other conversation. But you know, I like the old school stuff. Like you talk about Rick Ross, you talk about the dudes who made the original OG Kush. It's like when you're smoking wedding cake or Durban Poison or Purple Haze or Sour Diesel, like you know where it came from. Cherry pies, Girl Scout cookies. Now it's like it's a cross of a stepchild of a stepchild of a stepchild, and sometimes they don't know where they started.
A hybrid of a hybrid of a hybrid of a hybrid.
That's right. And the problem is well, it's good and bad. I mean, I have a really good friend who's a breeder. Holy Cow Seeds, shout out. In Southern California, in San Diego, he breeds seeds, and he'll take good strains, gelato 43s, and then cross them with stuff we know. The other people, it's like it could be great weed, but you don't even know where it came from. And if you make it, bro, you can call it Jerry and OG. There's no rules like in farming. Like that's another thing is like the research, like it's not there yet, obviously, because it's not legal, but like you can call it whatever the hell you want. I don't know where that came from. And as far as production, to go back to commercial farming, that shit doesn't fly because that plant growing in your basement, 100 plants, can that grow massive yield in 100,000 plants? Right. And if it can't, that strain is trash. You know, you could grow it in your closet, no big deal. I don't care about that. I'm growing 10,000 to 200,000 plants. Like I just did a 200,000 square foot cannabis greenhouse out in Salinas, east of Monterey, Cali. I mean, we're talking 1,600 plants a room, $500,000 to $600,000 worth of crop in every room.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, you got to grow strains that you know produce big yield. You know where they came from, or they've been proving in a commercial setting. Because, like you said, you don't know if it's. I mean, it might be good for your house, but that's not what I do. You know.
Right. All right, okay, man. Listen. So before I let you get up out of here, you dropped a lot of cannabis knowledge on us. This is the lightning round of the.
Oh boy.
Yeah. You have not been prepped for this. These are just some random questions that I have assembled, so you can just answer this to the best of your abilities.
Sure.
All right, man. Here we go. Question number one: what is the first thing you think about in the morning when you wake up?
How much work I have to do for the day.
Straight to the emails, huh?
I mean, after a quick prayer for waking up. But yeah, it's how much work do I need to perform today?
Okay. All right. Next one: hot or cold?
Hot all the time, man. Hate cold.
Why am I asking that one? That's stupid. That's it.
Hot.
Okay. So next one: if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
The ability to make everybody love everybody and get along in enough of a sense that we would, even if we had some disagreements, it didn't matter because we loved each other so much. The whole world could be healed because everybody's happy with everybody else, man.
You want some manly Care Bear power type thing.
If you give me a hug, then we're tight, and then I just hug like 100 billion more people. But like empathy and sympathy for our friends and family and people we don't know. A lot of people don't have it as good as us, you know.
Yeah, that's a good one, man. I haven't even had anybody answer that one. Or answer that one like that. Excuse me. Okay, so next question. You just hit the lotto. You got $500 billion. What are you buying first?
We're going to exclude how much you should give to charity. The first thing I buy is probably something similar to yours. I buy 2,000 acre ranch down in the hill country that maybe the Frio runs through, and I set up a massive compound out there where I can just live off the grid and chill. And then I probably buy a place in Portugal on the coast, and then some type of ski resort deal so we can do a little mountains, Texas ranch, and then bounce off the way. I mean, you should need the beach house in Hawaii too. I like to spend all of it on the houses and then spend no money and just chill.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, bro. The last thing I needed to do was start watching what is this shit called? Yellowstone. That's the last thing I needed. I'm hooked. I already wanted to rant.
Hey, I have a bone to pick about that, man. The blonde chick, the sister,
Beth. Yeah,
dude. There's some episodes she's so outrageous. I can't even finish the damn episode just because of her attitude. And my wife's like, she'll finish it without me. And I'm like, you know what? You can catch me up next series because like her attitude. And people are like, well, see what happened to her. I'm like, I get that, but she didn't have to be a condescending bitch like every time she talks to somebody.
I know exactly what you're talking about. You're talking about those dinner table scenes.
I couldn't get over it, man.
He's trying to fucking have a good fucking nice meal with his family, and he's like, "Hey, Beth, how's your day?" Well, Dad, you know how the fucking day was? It's rich. I don't have to worry about anything, and I'm mad at the world. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't need that kind of fucking attitude in my life, even if it's not even in my damn life, man. I watch happy stuff like Night Stalker, stuff like that.
I do love that show, though, man. I do love that show,
dude. I'll tell you, one of my favorite shows is Fauda. It's an Israeli show, and it's high acclaim. But it's on Netflix.
Fauda, okay.
And dude, I listen to it in Hebrew, but read the English subtitles. Dude, it's about the conflict between like an Israeli like RDF secret military force and the Palestinians. So like it's all super real life, but the guy who wrote it and directs it used to be an Israeli Defense Forces secret agent dude. So it's like super real, but I like that, and I like watching the British crime dramas, man.
Bro. I just watched Gangs of London on Amazon Prime.
That was good. I haven't seen it.
Okay, bro, check it out. It's the first season's out right now. It's like take Peaky Blinders in modern day,
right?
In England,
Wow.
It's really good.
See, because I like that. Because I like every Guy Ritchie movie. You know what I mean?
You're gonna love this, bro. You're gonna love this.
Okay.
Gangs of London on Amazon Prime right now, bro.
Okay. Okay.
The first season ends, you're gonna be like, it's phenomenal, dude.
Good.
So,
That'll break up my wife's wanting to watch Hell's Kitchen. You know what I mean? So.
yeah. Oh, dude, you're gonna like it. She'll like this show too. She'll like it too, man. She'll
That's
like it too.
dope, man. Dude, this
All right,
is
man.
I really enjoyed talking with you, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I'm gonna let you get up out of here. You got any shout outs you want to give?
No, man, just to my wife who allows me to do everything I do. Shout out to God for making it all happen. Shout out to my parents for making me the man I am today. And shout out to you, Jarian, who I've known for over 2 decades. And I appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh yeah, man, no problem, man. I'm glad you come. Definitely get to come back, man. This is he's gonna be my my cannabis guy, man. All things cannabis is gonna be coming through Jacob, man. So I appreciate you sitting down with me one more time, man. As always, like I'd like to say at the end of the episodes, man, mental health is real. Take care of this, it'll take care of you. Tell somebody you love them. Drink some water. We're out of here. Peace. This is the Cloud Chronicles. Download Doc TV 33. Get exclusive episodes of the Cloud Chronicles. Shout out to Doc. Shout out to Fatal Poem. Shout out to Extended Play, man. That's the team. This is the Cloud Chronicles. We out, man. Peace.
Peace.